Considering the circumstances of the world and the topic of this video, I wanted to start out just by saying thoughts and prayers to the survivors out in the Ukraine. They're out there leading a real-life resistance against a real-life invading Russian threat. We could talk about things and experience them in video games, but they'll always just be a work of fiction. It's a shame that sometimes reality has to be so much worse. The Ukraine deserves peace. So, now my dudes, let's get into this video. What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris Infinite, and today we're going to talk about a theory I've had here since Landfall launched just last month. Through the babushka dolls, we learned of a mad story about a group of Soviets sent to shut down the Phoenix program, with the side objective of recovering it for themselves to further progress communist Russia's ideals. At the helm of these operations were two main characters, our protagonist, Tatiana, and our new antagonist to look forward to, Bolshakov, a mechanical specialist, extreme nationalist, and most importantly, half batshit crazy. I've got two theories for you dudes today, both of which could very much serve as the basis of what inspired this character and could potentially be a bit of an inside look at just how deep the rabbit hole will go when it comes to Bolshakov. Of course, take all of my wild theorizing and out there ideas with a grain of salt, like maybe two. He could very much just be inspired in name alone, but today we'll delve into the real life Bolshakov and how he could inspire our own Bolshakov, as well as some similarities I see in this dude's ideologies that could tie way back to what started communist Russia in the first place. But that one's more of a stretch, so we'll leave that one till later on in the video. Georgy Nikitovich Bolshakov was an undercover Soviet GRU officer that worked with the United States through the 1960s, playing a major role in a lot of the behind-the-scenes diplomacy between the Soviet Union and the Kennedy administration. Essentially, this dude was the binding tie that helped make important diplomacy and decisions happen, like the Vienna Summit and defusing the Berlin crisis in 1961. Which, yeah, I know, sounds pretty far from our mad scientist, hack the machines, and take over the world for the motherland Bolshakov we have in our own game. So I'm gonna proudly don the tinfoil hat here, but what if our own Bolshakov is like an inverse effect of what the real-life Bolshakov did? Instead of tying countries together and negotiating peaceful solutions, our own Bolshakov will be the catalyst to potentially a massive war here in Ostertorn. A massive war that potentially will be the eye-opener to the rest of the world as to what's actually going on here in Sweden. And this war could be the thing that finally brings NATO into Generation Zero as a more real presence in the game, providing the opportunity for new weapon packs, storylines, machines, and factions to pop up as we progress along this plotline. I know, it's a huge theory actually when you look at it, but this could be where everything is heading with Bolshevik's current mad quest to obtain Phoenix at any means necessary. We'll have to see where things go from this point with the Soviets, but as a reverse Georgy, our own Bolshevik could be the bringer of chaos in a huge way, which segues perfectly into the other idea I've been sitting on here. And that is that Bolshakov is Bolshevik, at least fundamentally speaking. Bolshevism is a revolutionary socialist belief of Soviet Marxist Leninist political thought and regime associated with the formation of a rigidly centralized, cohesive, and disciplined party of social revolution, focused on overthrowing the existing capitalist state system, seizing power, and establishing the dictatorship of the proletariat. I know, that was a whole bunch of big words and jargon there, but let's take a look at Bolshakov for a second, and I'll show you dudes the ties that I'm making here. So the Bolsheviks had a number of things that tie up to the actions we've seen from Bolshakov. In essence, make it happen at any cost approach. Here's a quote from well-known Marxist theorist Alexander Pravis. "The essence of Bolshevism is simple: to ignite a revolution everywhere, not choosing the time regardless of the political situation and other historical realities. Whoever is against is the enemy, and the conversation with the enemies is short. They are subject to urgent and unconditional destruction. We see this exact action with Bolshevik in the For the Motherland Matryoshka report. He gives Tatiana an option, then immediately on seeing there was no course of mutual agreement, attempted to destroy the thing that opposed him. No course of any other action. There's also this approach he has to seizing power by literally rolling up into a place and expecting to be able to just take the Phoenix program, then head home to make even worse machines for destruction. We see him having this extremely destructive approach to most of his decisions through the reports, even to his own disparity, asking for forgiveness from Tatiana and dysfunctionally sobbing while murdering his own comrades. It's a total stretch, but I believe if Bolshakov is inspired by Bolshevik extremist beliefs, he could wind up making a much more chaotic war than we could anticipate, if I'm right on where his actions will lead us eventually. But now that we're at the end of the video here and I've put out all of my crazy ideas, I'll take off the tinfoil hat for a second and turn things over to you dudes. What do you think of the ideas? And more importantly, what do you think of Bolshakov so far? I think in terms of a human bad guy for us, he's a pretty damn good one, and we can set our eyes on him for a bit before we get back to wrecking Phoenix. So, my dudes, I hope you enjoyed this video, stay awesome, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.